What is the difference between a mailing address and a registered address? My name is Sam Bryant, and I'm an attorney that helps build and protect Florida businesses. So I'm making this video because I get a lot of questions about this, especially with first-time business owners who are registering their businesses. Because in Florida, when you're registering a business, they ask for three different types of addresses. It's a registered address, they ask for a mailing address, and they ask for a principal place of business. And I think there's not enough information on the internet to make this clear. So the differences are a registered address is where the business is going to receive its legal notices. So if the business gets sued, the person suing the business is going to go onto the Department of State website, which is Sunbiz, and they're going to look for that registered address because a legal notice is not um, effectual until it's served at that registered address. So your registered address is where you're going to receive legal notices. In Florida, this address has to be in Florida, and it cannot be a PO box. And that makes sense because if your business is going to get sued, the person suing you is going to use a process server, so it's going to be a person that's going to hand deliver the lawsuit. And they can't do that with a PO box because there's not another person to receive that. So in Florida, you can't use a PO box for your registered address, but you can in Florida use a PO box for a mailing address. So that's the main difference between these two. A mailing address can receive any type of mail. So if you're registering a business in Florida, you want to use the mailing address as the place where you're going to receive all your business mail. And another difference is that for the mailing address, it doesn't have to be in Florida. So if you're registering a Florida business, you can, and you live in a different state, you can use a non-Florida address for your mailing address. And for your principal place of business, that's the address where most of the business is going to be conducted. So if you have a physical office space, it's going to be that address. So, so you may have a situation where you're using a office space for your physical location, but you want your mail to go to a different location. So that would be the difference between the mailing address and the principal place of business. To make it simple, you could use one address for all three, but you have to make sure that if you're going to do that, that address has to be in Florida. It has to, and it cannot be a PO box, and it should be a place where you can receive legal notices. Um, the most common issue with these addresses comes with people or business owners who don't want a they don't want their personal information on Sunbiz, but they don't have a physical office space. So they need some sort of virtual address for everything. In those situations, these distinctions become the most important because, again, you can't use a PO box for your registered address. So the solution that I give a lot of business owners is if you if you don't have a physical location for your business and you don't want to use your home address on the filings, then use the most practical solution would be to use one address, but use a co-working space or some sort of virtual address service that will accept legal notices. And that's important. You have to make sure that they will accept legal notices. In that scenario, you'll be able to use one address for all three spaces. So just to do a small recap, there is a difference between a registered address, a mailing address, and a principal place of business when you register a business with the state of Florida. The registered address is going to be the address where you can receive legal notices, and that cannot be a PO box. The principal place of business is going to be where you are conducting the majority of your business, but you can use a virtual address for that space. The mailing address is going to be where you're going to be receiving your business mail, and that can be a PO box and does not have to be in Florida. So one more time, the virtual or the registered address cannot be a PO box, and that address has to be in Florida. The mailing address does not have to be in Florida, and um, can be a PO box. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, or if you want to learn more about building and protecting your Florida business, I do have a Facebook group called Building and Protecting Florida Businesses. I try to upload content to that group on a daily basis. Um, if there are any topics that you would like to, or are there any topics that you haven't seen me discuss that you would like to learn more about, just feel free to reach out.